So it's been a hell of a few days. Very good few days, but also I'm tired. I'm very sleep deprived. I'm sure you can't tell. So like my boyfriend and I are moving into an apartment together after 3.5 years of living with our respective parents, just trying to conduct our relationship around that. So we're all very excited. But like we got the keys today, and we're gonna start moving tomorrow, which is phenomenal. But one thing that happens when I go through these like transitions like this is I have a lot of trouble sleeping. So I'm really sleep deprived. Fuck. I say fuck just because like when I'm making a video, I do find it really hard to focus on what I'm trying to say, because I feel this constant need to be looking at my image, making sure that I'm like physically, aesthetically pleasing enough to be listened to. And that, I think, is a pretty glaring symptom of just the weird visual-based or image-obsessed culture that we live in right now. Because, like, oh my god, with TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, these are all intensely visual platforms. And whatever it is that you want to say, if you want people to listen or see it, you're going to have to pair it with a really captivating image. And if it's an image of you, you better look goddamn pretty. I used to, like, and, fuck, man. So, I've had a lot of instances where I'm all gung-ho about making a video, and so I'm like, alright, I'm gonna, like, do my makeup first, or I'm gonna, like, put on clothes that make me look good. And I fuck around with all that for a while, and then, like, I try to record one thing or two things, and then it's nighttime, and I'm only marginally okay with my appearance, and I'm exhausted, and I haven't said anything. I don't know if that's true. But anyway, so, like, these platforms are so obsessed with your image, and they sort of, I think they feed into your own obsession with your image, because you have to be passably aesthetically pleasing to even like get into the part of the algorithm where you're seen. If you look, I don't have a TikTok at all. I never did. I was never tempted to. It's like, okay, people make very, it's like, it seems similar. I mean, I know it's similar to Vine with the length of videos, but it seems like it's got this like black hole algorithm with this gravity that like draws people in, and then they surface like days later. And they've just been like watching people fuck up their baking. Or even worse, like suddenly they're on a weird part of TikTok with a cult or some shit. I don't know. I don't really use TikTok first time, even though I've used the same dye and the same cut pretty exclusively since like 2010. But I was so tired. And I am so tired now. But I don't have any goals for this video. And I think that is the secret for me right now. Because if I try to have a goal, then I will, like, have this thing where one thing that gets in my way when I try to write, especially fiction, is I have this complex that not only do I have to be like good at it, I have to get it perfect the first time. The first draft, the sentence has to be perfect, and I can't move on until it is. And because that's not really how it works, and there's no way to know if a sentence is perfect unless you put it in the context of the rest of what you're writing. And I just get overwhelmed. I'm like, fuck, I can't even get this sentence right. There's no way I'm going to write a short story. And it's like I don't immediately write like Shakespearean prose in iambic pentameter effortlessly, so I decide I'm a failure and I quit. And that's a pretty Western thing, I found out, there's this idea of fixed versus growth mindsets about intelligence, specifically in like academics in like grade school. However, like Western culture, especially America, has this idea that you're born with a certain level of intelligence, and it is unwavering. You know, you don't get smarter, you don't get dumber, and then we put a ton of, I don't know, emphasis or pressure on doing what you're good at. And I don't know, I guess I internalized a lot of that because it took me a really long time to just decide that, like, it was permissible to not be a fucking genius at whatever it was I was trying to do on the first try, because that never ever happened once. And even with the stuff that I'm best at, like poetry or whatever, I've gotten poems published, I've read poems out loud for like NPR twice. But like, and like that was great. But then I decided that whatever it was that I wrote next had to be better. It had to top those two things. And then, it's not successful unless the New Yorker prints it. It's just, I have these impossible standards that are probably, that might even be like self-sabotaging in nature, because it's much easier to quit without trying than to try and fail and try and fail and try and fail and then succeed. So the semester started today, and the semester started today, which is exciting. I am like slowly creeping towards my BA. I won't take more than 2 classes a semester because I'm terrified of getting burnt out and quitting the way I did with my first 2 colleges. And I wasn't initially as excited as I was when I had the opportunity to like take more electives, because I came here, classes from my first college, Marlborough, that were called like Deconstructing the Superhero and like Intro to Exotic Dance. They transfer the credits as electives, and even the more rigorous philosophy classes that I took, if they didn't have a corresponding course at my college now, it's an elective. So, and also because I went to the, it was like the most liberal of liberal arts colleges, I never took a class that I didn't want to take. And so suddenly I showed up at ODU and it's like, oh no, I have to do gen ed, which has been actually a lot of fun so far. Because like I got to take like English 101, which just, it's an for me that was just, it was really fun because I like to write and I feel good about what I write. Anyway, I've been putting off my white whale, which is taking college algebra after taking a placement test. And I managed to put it off this semester too, but I'm running out of other classes to take. I haven't done math since 2008, I think, at my therapeutic boarding school. And I did manage a B, but like with so much help. But I'm not that worried just because I actually have good study habits now, which I did not have before. Anyway, I'm taking biology for non-majors, which is just to fulfill a science credit. It's fine. And then to fulfill, God, I don't remember the other thing. I don't think it's information literacy, something else. But I'm taking a class called the Philosophy of Technology and Innovation, which I'm actually really excited about. I'm not really, excuse me, I'm not really interested in technology in the sense that I like gadgets, but I'm really interested in, I guess, the philosophical questions and dilemmas that technological innovation presents. For instance, I really like Kazuo Ishiguro, who wrote Remains of the Day, was made into a movie, and Never Let Me Go, which was also made into a movie. And then more recently he wrote a book called Clara and the Sun. And it's weird because, like, I guess technically you would call it science fiction because a lot of it has to do with, like, artificial intelligence and, like, cloning, for instance. But it doesn't read like science fiction. You don't, because it's not the tech that's the point. The point is to explore basically what it means to be human, and the ways that he explores that involve having these people like these AI androids, I guess, or clones that are there for their organs to be harvested for medical use. And, like, these aren't technically people. They don't technically have rights. And what I really like about him is he explores a lot of, like, what makes you human is how you treat... Well, God, okay, so... so these characters who are clones or are AI, these books are written from their perspective. And they're, like... You can tell from the way that the characters are written that they are very much human in all the ways that matter, in that they feel empathy, they feel compassion, they feel pain, and with just some sort of... And the whole personhood thing was really... What I really like that he does is so gentle, because the stories that he tells in these settings are not horrific. They're, like, they focus on these characters that are AI or clones or whatever that are treated remarkably well and get lucky and are treated as though they are human, more or less. But every once in a while you get, like, a shadow or a small glimpse of how bad it could be for these people. Especially, like, Never Let Me Go is so disturbing to me. It's spoilers, by the way, I guess. Where, like, the main characters don't even know that they're clones necessarily right away, and the place that they live is like a boarding school. And so, like, because they don't really know they're clones, they don't have, like, they value themselves as people, and they have art class and stuff like that. But then you hear about, like, there, other, like, the people running this boarding school who are all about treating these characters as though they're human. They refer to places that don't do that. And you sort of get the sense that it can get so much worse. Anyway, I really like Kazuo Ishiguro, and I really like just thinking and talking about all that, these implications of creating sentience or creating bodies and what that means for personhood, what makes us human. So I'm really excited about my technology and innovation class, my philosophy of technology and innovation class. I really would have liked to actually major or minor in philosophy or religion, but it didn't work out, or even literature, but it didn't work out because, like, I want to be a trauma counselor, I want to be a therapist, I want to get involved in, like, research, and, like, Heidegger's not going to help me with that. So, I really don't enjoy my psych classes, though. I enjoy the material, but I don't know why, but psych departments tend to draw some very inept people as professors and as students. I don't know why. And yeah, sure, I'll count myself among them. Where, like, yeah, I don't fucking know. But, like, I'm not, unlike the first time I went to college, I'm not doing this for, like, an experience. I'm not even doing this necessarily to learn stuff, although I'm really happy that I get to. I'm doing this so that I can get the piece of paper that says I can help people in the way that I'm good at helping people. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed soon. Don't look at me like that. What? First draft of a final draft for my business card logo, whatever. And the moon doesn't look great in this, but it will look better. And like my dad, one of my dad's oldest friends, who I like a lot, is now a graphic designer. And when I last saw him, he was like send me a logo design and I'll help you design one, which I look forward to. I really love the design on my business cards now, but I didn't design it, so it's not going to work. Speaking of all that, I didn't expect for this to happen, but my spell bottles are selling on Etsy, which, like I said, I really didn't expect that, just because Etsy is where people buy and sell spell bottles. That's like one of the most common items that's listed there, I think. So I figured that, there wouldn't, that it wouldn't draw a lot of people, but I actually put effort into like looking into just business strategies, I guess, looking at other sellers and, sure what their prices are, but like also what weren't they, what could I offer that they didn't? And my answer to that so far is animal curios. Like I use, like most of these spell bottles have herbs and common crystals, which is fine. I have a lot of lesser known crystal chips now, and I use a lot of like bee pollen, snake sheds. For my fuck around find out return to sender protection bottle, I have rattlesnake vertebra, porcupine quills, and stingray barbs. Oh, sort of. I mean, I think that's kind of self-explanatory why they belong there. And those have sold the most. But regardless, I started the shop in April, and since then I've had almost 30 sales, and I've made like almost $300, which I'm very proud of. But what I'm most proud of, I'm not supposed to be chewing gum. What I'm most proud of is that not once, but twice, somebody received their order and that same day went back to my shop and ordered more stuff. And that just made me feel really good, especially because I read that finding repeat customers is way more important than attracting new customers. And like, I'm not gonna like try to encourage y'all to like check out my shop, although I'll probably link it here. I've had like, my reviews are just so sweet, and I can tell that like, people really appreciate them, and I like that. And then also I go so ape for the extra stuff, like I throw in stickers or pins or little plastic dinosaurs, just random shit like that, because people like surprises. And then recently I had to order more boxes for the order, so I got black ones, and got myself a seal and a whole bunch of sealing wax. I ordered 100 of these black boxes, and like less than a week ago, and at this point I think there might be 5 that don't have the wax seal on them, because I love lighting shit on fire. I really, really do. And I really like fucking around with wax. I really like pouring it. I just, everything about that whole process, and also just making spell bottles, I really love doing it. And I feel a lot more productive doing that in pursuit of my business, rather than back when I was like 11 or 12, dissociating in front of the family computer, watching the visualizer, listening to Our Lady Peace, lighting shit on fire in secret. I haven't really had much of a chance to try to design new stuff, but I've been thinking about new stuff. Some of the stuff that I want to do involves more elaborate, like shadow boxes using skulls and bones and preserved flowers and plants and stuff like that. just based on what I, having looked into it, those pieces tend to sell quite well for much more money than my little spell bottles. By the way, if you want little spell bottles, I'm on Etsy at Widdershins Goods, and yeah, the stuff that I have up there right now, there is the Return to Sender one, the Fuck Around Find Out. There's a Glamour bottle that I call Starstruck because I have to name all of the bottles. There is fucking... there is a fucking bottle. There's a seduction bottle, actually. And there's a sleep bottle. There's like a psychic development bottle. There are Cernunnos and Hecate, like, devotional invocation bottles that aren't really spells, but are, you know, again, like I said, devotional pieces. And those have been really popular, actually. Then, of course, you got your love drawing bottles, and recently I did a meditation bottle, a sacred space bottle. I'm working on some depression ones, some trauma recovery ones, although I am tentative about that because I don't want to be a snake oil salesman, you know? Like, I'm not trying to convince people that if they get my little $10 glass bottle with herbs and crystal chips, that their depression or trauma will go away. That's not how magic works, in my opinion. Or to say it more specifically, I guess, like, that's not how my practice is. And one thing I love about witchcraft, by the way, I've been practicing witchcraft since I was 12. So I've been doing it for a really long time. And what has always attracted me to it is that there are as many types of witchcraft as there are witches. There's no wrong way to do it. People will tell you that there are wrong ways to do it, but there aren't. And it's just, so that's really cool. And I also, I don't mind, well, no, I don't like being in big groups, and I do not trust things like organized worship. It's not because I have any negative feelings towards religion itself, but based on, you know, a healthy knowledge of history, religion has been a very successful tool that people have used to gain power and, you know, pursue their own ends. And I'm not, you know, I don't think that I trust people enough to really involve them in what I consider the most intimate part of my life, which is, I don't even want to say spiritual because I'm not really into that idea, but in fact, I never talk about it much, partially because I don't like a lot of the witches that I see or know or follow, like, on Instagram and shit. I mean, I'm really just misanthropic in general, but, like, I hate Wicca. I hate Wicca. Wicca was how I was introduced to witchcraft, like Silver Ravenwolf, which, by the way, don't read her. And the woman who introduced me to witchcraft was actually an Episcopalian rector who was at my mom's church, but she said she was a druid, which I later realized is, as far as I understand, Druidism is all about the language that was used in the practice, which is dead. So there are no Druids anymore. But try telling her that. And she was okay. Or, well, apparently she wasn't that okay, but, like, she was fine to me. And I don't know why, but, like, she definitely, like, recruited me to be a witch. Like, she gave me my first wand. She gave me the Silver Ravenwolf book. I'm not sure if it was her idea or my mom's idea to throw me a period party, but they were both involved. That's a fun story that I'm going to tell now. So I'm my mom's oldest kid, and she, you know, she was really into this Episcopalian church, but also, like, into this like spiritual, I don't know, I want to say almost not, yeah, new age yoga kind of thing. And when I got my period at 12, my mom invited Mother Glenn, this rector, her husband, Father Bill, who wanted to be called Oakwise, as his bald patch and his ponytail fought it out back here trying to meet. And just like a lesbian couple that also went to the church. They came over and we had a little gathering. I don't know what they thought was going to happen, but it was one of the most uncomfortable evenings of my life. Like, I got a few journals as gifts, and then fucking Father Bill gave me a jar of body oil that he had made himself. And I was like, man, I'm 12. Like, can we not? And it was... I was pretty cavalier about it. I wasn't upset. But, like, when my younger sister, got her period, she, like, went to my mom and was like, you're not going to throw me a period party, are you? It's a fun story, though. Anyway, right, witchcraft. And then I immediately just... I had a friend who was a girl who, like, we would workshop, like, spells or whatever, and we would, like, hang out during recess and call ourselves a coven or whatever, but that was just play for me. But, like, I do have, I don't know, I like, my practice over time has become just very important to me and very, I don't know, it's very personal and very intimate for me. And also, I used to talk about it more freely, especially when I lived up north. But when I met my boyfriend's parents, or my boyfriend's dad, who I really like, by the way, but, he, like, I mentioned that I do, like, woo-woo witch stuff, and you know, when I talk about it, especially with people who aren't into it, I do that, you know, like, being like, yeah, I know, it's really silly, but, like, he just straight up laughed at me, which wouldn't have bothered me if he didn't say in the next 5 minutes that it's okay that I don't believe in the Christian God because he believes in me. Because, like, I'm okay with you laughing at me, or I'm okay with you imposing your religion upon me, but you can't have it both ways. Like, you can't, like, laugh at, my, like, what I call religion, and then expect me to take what you call religion seriously and, you know, respect the sky wizard that you believe in. That was a while ago, but it's, I don't know, it actually bothered me a lot more than I wanted to let on at the time. Anyway, oh god, I'm talking about witchcraft now. Oh yeah, Wicca. No, like, straight from that, genetically I'm Irish. I was not born in Ireland. I have been to Ireland. I know what part of the country my dad's family is from. And actually, after immigrating from Ireland to South Boston, my dad's family just stayed there in, you know, the little Irish community for 10 generations before venturing out. And, like, I also developed this rabid interest in, like, Egyptian mythology, specifically Anubis, who, you know, he is the jackal-headed god who guides you to the scales where your heart is weighed against a feather, etc., etc., but he's also the god of embalming. And I didn't even know how morbid I was when I got really into that. Then, I guess I'm talking about deity work now. No, whatever, I don't know. Oh, right, yes, I remember now. Sympathetic magic. Because, like, I don't really stop to think too hard about whether or why or how my stuff works. Like, I don't, like, I don't like do a spell and then think like, oh, like wait around for it to work, or I don't know, expect something to change without me initiating that change. But like the way that sympathetic magic works is it's similar to a lot of Neil Gaiman stuff in that it's about belief. It's not necessarily, I mean, the magic is in manipulating perception and in generating belief. Like, for instance, alright, I think I'm probably just, like, killing time. So I'm going to go to bed? Yeah, it's 11:30.